Hi, welcome back, and this is the intro for part 2 of the Lynn Calder interview with Krabby and Stew. If you've not listened to part 1, I seriously recommend that you go and do that. So this one we carry on some more with a few of the questions that were posted by forum members, and just a general discussion where Lynn dishes the dirt on a few things and just fills in some of the blanks that only the boss lady can do. All right, hope you enjoy it, and if not, then that's on you.
All the parts we didn't have to build the cars that we couldn't build. We did job 1 because we said we've got to hit this date, and we literally did job 1. The car rolled off the line, and we said, what the hell now? I mean, it was just, and then, you kind of fast forward into then all of the, being in 50 countries, that just sounds like you're setting up a sales and distribution channel, but you're setting up homologation in every country and, getting that car. And when you look at every tweak you have to make for every country, there's loads of things that you switch on, you switch off. I think we worked out that with all of the different countries, homologations, regulations, options, accessories, colors, right-hand drive, left-hand drive, gas, diesel, we've got something like 1.6 billion permutations. Yeah. Which we're going to have to do something about.
Well, and that's where...
Because that's not smart, right?
We were, at least I was, delighted when the order guides came out, and you could just a la carte. And now I have a trial master.
And it wasn't sold as a pack.
Right. It wasn't,
to
you
get
want
a sunroof,
this.
I've got to spend 10 grand on this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
super unusual.
But we've also discussed that that's probably going to slowly go away just because it doesn't make sense.
It's not smart. From an OEM perspective. And I think what we've got to do, and we're in the process of looking at this exactly right now, and it's not going to be something that happens and changes overnight anyway, because we can't do it overnight, but changing systems, nightmare. And I think we've got to try and keep something of the original premise, which was to give people some free choice and not have them buy things they don't want to buy just because they want one tiny little aspect of it. It's not about a commercial thing for us to get people to spend more money on the car. It's about a simplification.
Right.
Because we just didn't think through the level of complexity that we were giving ourselves for a new car manufacturer in a factory that we hadn't operated. It was all just a bit, and I'm coming full circle back to the point of it felt like you guys were all feeling like completely left behind. It wasn't for a lack of care, and it wasn't for it's not. I'll defend myself and my fabulous team to say as well, it's not incompetence either. It's just sheer workload of there aren't enough minutes in the day to get through the complexity. And as I said earlier, I think maybe before we kind of started talking on camera, I think now this year has been a really good time for us to come up for air and say, okay, these are the things we need to fix. So stop worrying about which countries we're entering next and what car we're building next. Just fix the problems.
Well, that's the right way to look at it.
And we've seen it with the secondary battery being dropped, which people are like, oh, why did they do this? And that's the answer. It's like, simplify.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing for me. We agonized over that. It's not an easy decision because we look at the car and say we want the maximum amount of capability to come straight out of the factory. We talked about that a little bit earlier. And I just got to the point of thinking, for the difficulty that it causes and for the fact that, they were going to be discontinuing that particular product and we were going to have to do quite a lot of development for a new product. And I was just like, this is so easy for people to do in the aftermarket.
Yeah.
Why are we contorting ourselves to do something that actually we could spend that brain space doing something that's actually more important? So we're constantly trying to make these trade-off decisions. But we want to make sure that we keep to the original premise as much as we can. And if there are things that we do that, just takes it too far, you guys will be the first to tell us and we will listen.
Well, but see,
we will listen.
We say this and people are like, well, they left us behind. But I can't imagine if we called up Henry Ford IX, whatever they're on now, and said, hey, you're the president of Ford. Would you like to sit down with two schmoes with some GoPros and discuss your company? And that's that's really special. And that's why we really appreciate this because, like, obviously Sir Jim was the face of things for the first 4 or 5 years.
And he still is. I mean, he is.
But
this is his car.
yes, I know.
Right?
And so, but then the fact that the person who really runs everything had time for us. So we appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it too, though, because, and I mean that with every sincerity, because you guys are busy. You've flown across the country to do this, and
Don't tell anyone that. Especially my wife. Why
you,
going now?
you can edit that bit out, Stu. You guys could have said, we don't want to hear what you've got to say. We're just set on you've left us all behind. You're giving us an opportunity to kind of get some of our thoughts, how we think about things, what we're doing, why we're doing it that way. That's hugely valuable to us. So thank you.
We're good. So it's a two-way street. We're like,
Exactly.
do you have a Bellstaff jacket?
I do have a Bellstaff jacket. I have several actually. All of which I have actually bought as well.
Wow.
I'm starting to think
what
I'm
is
not
going
very
on?
commercially
No,
smart.
You're supposed to get perks.
You're working for a Yorkshireman. Come on.
When we first acquired Bellstaff, so this was obviously before the car, I kind of took quite a long time to break before I bought one because I didn't really think it was my vibe. So I actually bought a really nice sort of motorbike leather. That was my first one.
The V-Race is nice.
Um,
I've got my eye on one of those.
Yeah, it's just, and I've had it for quite a long time now, and it's got that real weathered look, and I absolutely love
Which
it.
you like.
But I also now have a Trial Master, which I also love and wear loads. So yeah, it's a great brand as well, and really cool affiliation, really, because it's obviously an easy affiliation for us because we own both of the companies.
Right.
But I was chatting with the CEO of Bellstaff just a few weeks ago, and we were kind of really remarking on how our customer, in many cases, is very similar. So it's actually quite a nice tie-up.
Yeah, and it's a good one. And like in the States, like Eddie Bauer used to team up with Ford. Do they still do Eddie Bauer?
I have no idea.
And American Eagle paired up with somebody. So it's just, it is a natural fit.
Yeah.
I hope that'll be the Trans Am with the Pontiac. Is it Firebird? What did the Bandit drive?
Yeah, it was a Firebird Trans Am.
I hope it was a Firebird that they partnered up with. American Eagle and Firebird?
Yeah, no, they didn't.
No. Oh my God.
But
You just dashed my hopes of American pop culture. No?
AMC, late 70s AMC/Jeep paired up with Levi's and made a horrible looking denim filled car.
Oh my God.
We'll put it. We'll find a picture and put that in the package.
Sounds like
They did
a special
a Levi's
Volkswagen
Jeep,
thing like they did with
a Levi's Jeep version, and then they had I don't know if it was an AMC, a Pacer, or a Gremlin, one of those little. Yeah.
So it's the only car guaranteed to wear your pants out.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
That does not sound
Nope.
good.
That was,
I bet they're worth a fortune now. They only sold 6.
We've offended someone.
We regularly do.
1974 AMC Gremlin X Levi's Edition.
Oh, I just don't feed it after midnight, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so you paired up with much better,
word.
much better.
No, we
gameplay.
got it right. That's good.
Yeah.
And speaking about seats, that some of the most comfortable seats that I've ever had in a vehicle. Just, you don't have to answer this. Are they specially made for the Grenadier, or is it an off-the-shelf one that you just reskin?
No, it's especially made for the Grenadier. It's got the frame is off the shelf. That's a carryover part. But everything else is specially made and engineered for the Grenadier.
Good to know, because people are trying to work out, is it the X32B/C? And so I don't know.
Because one of the things people were trying to do was put lumbar support in it.
Right.
That was one of the, how can we make it happen? Can we get it from a different Recaro seat?
And retrofit it.
And no one's come up with a really good plan.
Actually.
Someone took their seat cover off and put an inflatable bladder with a hand pump that he uses.
Yeah, my Lotus has got that.
Yeah.
That's really creepy.
So I just bought a thing on Amazon to stick back there.
Are you gonna throw in your pet peeve?
Which one?
The cooled seats. Come on.
Oh my God.
Cold seats.
Yeah, see, now here's the thing.
Come on.
Okay, but
You got a heated seat. Come on.
here's the thing. It was one of those things.
This is a sales pitch.
I bought a truck and it had them. And the salesman's like, "Look, they're weird." He's like,
I think they're weird.
He's like, "It's going to feel like you wet your pants."
Yes.
Okay, and sure enough, it did. But as someone who loves to drive around with the windows open, but kind of gets a sweaty back, it's amazing. Because your back doesn't sweat at all.
I actually experienced it for the first time this week.
Did it feel like you went?
And I was kind of, oh, this is just wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but it gets better.
You get used to it.
Gets better.
I think
Yeah,
I
I have lots of pet
That
peeves.
sounds like a no to me.
Yeah. No, which is fine. That's fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm okay.
but
No. I'm glad that there's other things on there I would fix before that, but we'll come to those things.
All right. So this that was
There's the segue.
This is literally a full stop because so this is from Australia, and oh my gosh, I'm gonna make an absolute ham fist of this unit now.
That's just
Backup pull. Sorry. That's how it looks to me. Okay, so we talked about technical manuals. He's also asking a diagnostic tool.
Yeah.
Specifically to include so you can reset the TPMS
Yeah.
and the service
And
interval.
the service interval, yeah. So again, this was something you guys very helpfully put in your letter to me. So, and I'll be really honest on this one. This was less of a, oh, we dropped the ball on it, to of a, we hadn't really thought of it yet.
Right.
You know, we just hadn't really got round to thinking that that's something. So again, really grateful, helpful feedback. So thank you very much. So we have had a number. I mean, when I spoke to Tom D, he kind of said, you know, I've got an hotel one that I kind of use. So we actually went and spoke to them. We've had a couple of conversations with them. I think we've had a couple of conversations with a few others as well. And we're trying to understand what information we need to give them and what the development time is. So I haven't got an answer for you today, but the conversations are going on. We totally get that it's something that people want. Shouldn't be very difficult for us to do at all.
right. And that's like, I mean, rotating your own tires is problematic because the system doesn't know, hey, tire A is now, instead of being driver front, is now passenger rear.
Yeah.
So,
And I totally get as well then, you know, when I'm sure we'll get on and talk about, you know, service locations and stuff. Some people are traveling to go and get that reset. We've got to fix that.
Yeah.
So it's very firmly on the list, and we just hadn't thought of it yet. We hadn't got round to it, but we will.
good. Yeah. And then it's the other thing too. Like, it used to take me 2.5 hours to get to a dealer. Now with the freehold
Yep.
open, now it takes me an hour and change, which is a world of difference for something simple like the oil reset.
Yeah.
Because I changed my own oil twice already. And what they were nice enough to do at RDS in Philly, I said, can you just set the reminder interval as long as it'll let you?
Yeah.
As long, and it's 3 years is the max they could do it. I'm
Yeah.
like, just do that, because then I don't have to worry about it. But ideally, you'd like it to be proper.
Yeah, and I think we can, you know, I think there's just getting the diagnostic tool up and running, no problem. But I think, you know, it's really nice to hear that our partners are doing stuff like that for our collective customers,
Yeah.
because that's the kind of thing that just makes a world of difference. So, you know, my ask of all of them is just do it, just do stuff like that where people ask for it. Because, you know, a service reminder going off every year when you're maybe using it, you know, a lot of people using it on a Saturday and a Sunday, it's really irritating.
You will need an oil service in 6,000 miles 6 months before.
Yeah.
Just on that note, is that something that you think would be able to actually have in the software in the head unit, instead of needing a third-party tool where you can just have a reset button on the head unit? I know I'm putting you on the spot
No,
here,
I
but
mean,
just
no,
something that comes to mind. The same with the TPMS. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, relearn essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably a couple of different things within that. I think the short answer in the short term will be no. I think we'll do it via diagnostic tool, which is the same way that most cars do it. I think there's kind of a couple of things going on there. One is, you know, probably to write that into the coding of the software would take like a year and about 3 FRS loops and lots and lots of money. That's just not really the most important thing for us to fix right now. And then the other thing is, I mean, even, you know, lots of the retailers are going to want the ability to go into the code and change things, but you've got to keep a firewall between that. Otherwise, all sorts of things can go wrong. So I think that we've just got to come up with the simplest, fastest, easiest way for people to do basic things.
Yeah, because I mean, a dongle or whatever, it's way easier than, like, when I went in for my software update, the service manager, she's like, we're trying to do all the ones that are on the lot, so we don't have to deal with that when we sell them.
Yeah.
So that would take a lot of time to recycle all through that again.
Yeah.
So we started well, you shifted gears a little bit.
Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I promised people that we would ask very specific questions, and things are changing as people are.
Yeah, people. We said.
And I'm closing it out saying, right, we've asked and answered. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
See, this is semi-live. This is
Yeah.
as good as we can get.
Um,
All right,
so I think, bouncing back,
Let's see for me.
in 2016 or 15, when they were sitting in the bar and doing their thing, the automotive world was much simpler, even though, because, right, I mean, the
Different world, I
Yeah.
think, already.
yeah, and when you think about it, like, for especially people in the UK, but like if you came from an old Land Rover, which were basically, they were old when they were new, you know what I mean? They didn't really. So like I had a series Land Rover, and I have a service manual. It's about that thick, and it could tell you every nut and bolt.
Yeah.
But there's nothing electronic in it.
Yeah.
Besides one little wiring loom with 4 wires on it.
Yeah.
So like if that was the original idea, which makes a lot of sense, there's no way you can produce that in 2025. I mean, there's just too much regulation, and it's going to get worse, right? I mean, the regulation's going to
Getting worse every it feels like every half an hour, some regulator in some country comes up with, oh, wouldn't this be a good idea?
Yeah.
I was hearing this week, people talk about in the US, they were trying to come up with like a DUI sensor.
Oh, yeah, breathalyzer.
I mean, does anyone have any idea how complex that would be to actually engineer into a vehicle? We've got to be, I think, it's a massive rant and complaint on my part, but we've got to be a bit more thoughtful, because actually the person that pays at the end of all of this, I'm frustrated because I'm having to pay on the front end, and it's taking us years and lots of complexity. And when you're in so many countries and they've all got different ways of doing it, but the customer, I mean, all it's doing is driving up the cost of cars, all cars, for the customer. And at what point does someone actually stand up to the regulators and say, stop, you don't need to do this, just let it be for a while?
Yeah.
No. I doubt they're going to be listening to me anytime soon, but I'll keep ranting anyway.
No, but you know what? In some ways, I do believe this. People on the forum, people will watch and listen to this. They'll appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, like, some of the stuff that annoys us is,
I told you about that.
It's annoying to you guys. Like, it's annoying to us, but we don't have to go through what it takes to fix it. Like, I read an article where you guys were starting to talk about the Fusiliers on pause because of the regulations, right? You didn't know if the range extender counted as being banned as an ICE ban.
Yeah, as at today, it would be banned because it's got a small combustion engine in it that powers the battery. It drives me insane because it doesn't. The reason things like this drive me insane is because it doesn't make any logical sense to me. It's people just saying, you want to have this ideological outcome that as a politician you won't be around to see. At the same time, you're expecting the car industry that's got development cycles that are not 5 minutes to make decisions. It's extremely frustrating, extremely difficult, and I think that if we could just have some common sense prevailing.
Wait, you've mentioned politics and common sense in the same conversation.
You're missing religion. Come on.
Oh,
am I just?
We'll send an email off to the new American Pope.
No, we have a standing policy.
I'll cut that out.
We have a standing foreign policy of the bartender rules. No religion, no politics.
All right. Okay. Sorry.
As soon as no, you are fine. But as soon as that starts to happen on the forum, shut it down because nothing good comes out.
Yeah. No, that's excellent. Because actually, it is the things that really become very polarizing. Yes. And actually, if you're here to talk about cars, you don't need to be talking about any of that. I'll take a step back from politics, Michael.
You can't win. You cannot win. Yep. So, but the Fusilier is an exciting product.
Yeah, it is. We're very excited by it.
Right? Like, so hopefully that maintains its drive.
I mean, it will. We did the exterior reveal. We've finished, pretty much finished the interior design as well. We love the car. We want it on the road. And, it's got a lot of the DNA of a Grenadier, the off-road capability. It's got styling cues. but it's got a few maybe more modern comfort sensibilities as well. That will, even all the way down to in Europe, the Grenadier being over 2 meters is a problem for some car parks. And
I had that yesterday. I hit a stop sign on the roof. I haven't even gone to look on top.
Well, you don't have
massive scratch on the top.
no.
I don't know.
That's the worst
I couldn't bear looking at it, especially I've got a contrast roof. And I feel doubly bad because of how you have to manufacture it, where you paint it and then you rub it back.
Yes.
Feel
Is
sorry
that one
for
of
them.
those maybe will
Feel
go away
sorry for those
things?
guys.
Just because of how labor
No, it
intensive
won't
it is?
go away. We'll always limit how many we're prepared to do because
it's way hard, right?
It takes hours and hours and hours and hours, and it's a very manual process. You have to mask it all up. You have to, as you say, rub it all down, paint it. It's just we love the contrast roof.
Yes.
People love the contrast roof. It's extremely popular, which is problematic
because
so we'll always probably have to limit how many we do. But then that makes it nice and exclusive as well.
That's true, and there's not many manufacturers that do that.
No,
So
and you
it's a
don't
dying breed. Isn't it?
you don't have the luxury of like a Bronco or Jeep where it
It's
comes on
just
at
a
all.
roof. Yeah.
So you don't need to. But really, like who else? A lot of companies do black roofs, like Lucid Air.
I like those things.
Yeah,
they're
they're
so
cool.
quiet.
They look
and
like
black.
like-
I had one as an Uber the other day, and I'm like, man, I've arrived.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the hard life.
So, all right. What's our next?
Okay, so this one, we've gone from Lucid Air to something totally different. So this is from Skydance. They're based in the UK, just outside of Manchester, and it's about the reversing camera window and making it, on the head unit, and making it larger on it. They've got an early 23 model.
Yeah.
So it's saying, is there any hope that the earlier 23 models can have a larger window overlay screen for the reverse camera? PDC warning display can be smaller and the bigger window for the reverse camera. Can we enlarge the overlay window like you do on a computer? It's tiny. This has previously been said. It cannot be done due to hardware. That's what they've been told by their dealer or one of your agents. I'm curious to know if this is a camera aspect ratio resolution thing or the screen itself. They're saying why. And can this be retrofitted to 23 models who were the first customers to support INEOS from the very beginning? Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, good question, and it's one I'm going to have to take away. I'm very aware of the model year 23 reverse camera issue, and I think her stock answer to date has very much been, unfortunately, there was just an upgrade in model year 24, and it's bigger. I understand that the hardware issue, my understanding is it's the screen. I think what I don't know and what I'm willing to ask our engineering team is whether or not the head unit can just be completely refitted, retrofitted. Because we've had that question live about a couple of other things as well. So let me come back on that one.
Okay.
And what's the best way for me to do that? Is it just email to you guys and you just put it into the forum, or?
Yeah, I mean, whatever answer you want to furnish, just email statement, and then what I can do is I can post it on this thread, and then it'll be in there then.
Perfect.
And we can attribute it any way you want.
Yeah.
Because you definitely don't want your own account.
That's not what Nick said.
Yeah, well, Patty has his too, but they're lower on the totem pole.
Yeah, and look, I'm not shy.
No,
hopefully you're kind of getting, but yeah, I also could disappear down a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and
you don't want that.
what I'd rather do is stuff like this, where people do get to know me and our company and a little bit about what we're about. And I think even, I mean, I had someone, I think it was at the Australian, I went to an event with some of the Australian owners, and one of the questions was, well, why don't you take over and run this group? And you say everything that, answer all the questions, and like she was saying, front it up, like come and have all the difficult conversations. And I'm like, I don't think anyone's going to trust a forum that we run, where we're kind of saying all of our messages. I think it's much more important that they're independently run by people who really understand the car.
Who seem to know like they're talking about.
That absolutely know what they're talking about. But then also that, then we're opening a dialogue where you can put us on the spot and ask us the difficult questions, and I think that will have a lot more value than us trying to kind of like sit and answer it all and get to a point quite quickly where everyone's thinking, is this fake news or are they actually saying it?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, and this is why these conversations are so much easier sometimes than emails where there's no inflection, there's no, you lose that.
Yeah.
Because it's not, and we didn't want to come on here and be like, gotcha, you don't know the answer to that. But we don't want, that doesn't do anybody any good. It doesn't do us any good. Which is why, we let people do this and sort of get their points across. What are you going to go with next?
I don't know.
I think one, and I'll throw it out here because
I'm trying to pick one from every market space. We've had UK, Europe, North America. We had North America?
You've had Australia.
Europe, Aussie.
No, we didn't really do a North America one.
God,
so I'll throw it out there.
People are still doing it. It's changing. I should have just taken a screenshot.
I will throw this out there, and I will just leave it for you to take it the direction you want. But the HVAC system.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it there. So obviously, I mean, just by your face.
Just the HVAC system.
Yes, because again, it's on your radar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, look, I mean, and again, what I don't ever want to do is overpromise, so listening, absolutely get that, it's disappointing. And as a result of that, we will, optimize over time and work really hard to do that. And we're also within that looking at ways of, to the kind of rear camera point there, there's only kind of the right thing if we can actually retrofit it, right? So we're kind of having a lot of those discussions as well. Whatever we do to optimize can be retrofit so that we actually don't leave our early adopters behind. We're very attuned to that. But back to the point of not ever over delivering, right? The reason that the HVAC system is not amazing is because it wasn't really, packaging is an issue, right? So it's not that we have within our gift to put in a completely different system, even if we wanted to, because there just isn't the space. And there isn't the space because of our fabulous drivetrain and, the firewall and the crash testing that we've done and everything. Like, it's just not going to be within our gift. What we can do and what we are doing is that we're looking at, adding additional motors, adding additional sensors, adding, slightly different airflow techniques, which kind of equalizes things a little bit better. So I suppose my answer is we're listening, we're working really hard on it. Things will get better, but it's never going to be, unfortunately, the most amazing climate control system. And we'll take that learning from our very kind of rugged off-road car into Fusilier, where we make sure that, a lot of the things that we talk about in the Grenadier, make sure that those things are picked up and we come with the sensibilities of a system that people really want in a car.
Yeah, I mean, the argument, the rants that I have done, it's like, it's like you guys went above and beyond instead of just give me a knob that goes blue to red and his fan 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like a
2009 Honda Fit,
like a Mark II Ford Fiesta.
Yeah. Like it did, you know what I mean?
Roast chicken smell. That's
it's
what
like
we
a
missed.
roast chicken. I'm telling you, I've got to get that.
beef Wellington. It would have to be beef Wellington.
That's
Coming
the
from-
I
signature.
didn't even know your Grenadier menu.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
signature dish in the pub.
I know that's why.
Incidentally, I have to say, it's got the smallest front door of any pub I've ever been to.
You have to
Just- You
contort
just
yourself.
shuffle your way. If somebody's coming out and you're going in, I mean, you're firm friends.
Yeah,
Well,
it's like, it's this big. Yeah,
It's a lovely
tiny.
little pub.
It's totally unrelated because this is how we think. So the Oxford Cambridge overland journey in 1957. It was 2 Land Rovers that went
That's a
all the way
great
to
book.
Singapore. Is that where they ended up?
Yeah, London,
Malaysia.
Singapore.
Yeah. The launch off site was in front of the Grenadier. I saw a picture of it the other day.
Yeah, I saw that as
Yeah.
well.
So that's like, I mean, that's cool, right?
It's a great book.
Yeah. And there's a new documentary where they redid it. He was supposed,
Yeah,
but they went the other way.
Yeah.
So I've only watched the first couple episodes, But we'll talk about that. That's not this.
That's one for the list.
Yeah, no, and I mean they had the launch of that in the Grenadier actually, so it's kind of the documentary and book, but it's I think that I'm not sure how much we knew of that kind of heritage when we've kind of made it into our heritage, but it literally just was Jim's local where he had the conversation about
which is so
it's kind of organic, but it's actually also got that heritage.
That's serendipity for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and like, I mean, obviously, the vehicle, the end of the Defender line is kind of what pushed this into reality, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we were when we were looking at that, and we said, like, you're in the bar and you're doodling and you're doing your thing, and like it would have been so easy if 2020 then 2023 legislation would have let it just be pretty much the same thing. Let's just take that and just keep making it.
Yeah.
But obviously that was the idea, but the reality.
Yeah, the reality is just something really different. I think what we did try to do, though, even within that, I say so many times, like the car that we said we wanted to build, the car that we said we were going to build, the car we marketed to you guys is not what we built. But I think even within that, we weren't just sort of running riot and going, oh, well, and we'll have this and we'll have that. We have kept it to an absolute minimum, which is why, it doesn't have so many creature comforts, right? I think even in a standard, I'll probably get these numbers wrong, but they're ballpark, right? In a standard off-road SUV that we're competing with, but that is not quite so rugged and is more kind of lifestyle-y, 150-ish electronic control units, and we're 37.
37.
That's less than a Discovery 3.
Yeah.
Which you think about, it's a 20-year-old vehicle now.
Yeah.
Literally.
So we have kind of tried to keep it as simple as possible, but it's just not possible.
Right, to that extent.
Yeah.
And that's like, this is one of the things, like the fact that the seats, which are awesome, I love mine, are fully adjustable and all that stuff with no motor in them. So it's not gonna break. Like that's the stuff that, as someone who owned a Discovery, scared me to death when the warranty's up. So
I think there is. I'm not sure we make enough of that actually. We kind of take quite a lot of flack on the stuff that people would prefer we have, and I think that there is kind of rhyme, reason, and I get that it's not going to be for everyone, right? We know that. We know that lots of people are going to get in this car and they're going to say, do you know what? It's a bit too rugged for me. I kind of don't always get that because I love it. Completely biased, as I should be, I suppose. And I kind of think, well, it's more than comfortable for me. I do quite long journeys. I drove from France to London a few weeks ago, and it was a 16-hour journey, and I did not get out at the other end thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to walk for 3 days. It's comfortable. It's smooth. It's so many things that, are the modern incarnation of the old Defender that was actually fantastic car, but in today's world, not very comfortable.
They're horrible to drive.
Yeah, I know.
And I've still, just a pop stat, I've never driven an old Defender on a real road. It's always been in farms and stuff.
I actually haven't either. That's a good point.
Never on
well, here's the thing.
That's A road, B road.
Yeah.
As someone
always on farm trails.
As someone who's not tall, it's okay for me. But if you're tall and you sit in one of those, the older ones with the bulkhead where you're just there. There's no adjustment. There's none of that.
Yeah. That's why the elbow's out.
Yeah, well, you have to. Oh my God, I still have a scar.
Well, actually,
but you should drive.
Right.
You should go drive.
So I have, but just not on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So I've been off-roading in them, but just not. I was just, when you said there, I was like, actually, I don't think I've ever been on one just on the road. I mean, they're fabulous cars. We've honoured them. I think there's nothing but respect. But I think that we've kind of got the modern incarnation. I think it does have quite a lot of comfort, but maybe something we don't make enough of is there's so much less to go wrong.
Yeah, right.
And actually, it'll be part of why the car does hit those durability milestones and doesn't cost people loads of money after the warranty is up.
I know someone here, one of his pet peeves was the lack of a vanity mirror. That came directly from Sir Jim, though. I know that.
I was about to say something extremely disappointing for my gender, but it sounded like this person was male.
It may or may not be in this room. I cannot confirm nor deny.
So yeah, mother, Georgina, lives in South Wales, got in. First thing she does, pull it out, where's the vanity mirror? I'm like, so have you got a phone, right? That's got a flashlight in it as well now. You know, and that was the first thing she said to me. I was like, oh, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah, I definitely
Here
hear
we
that one a
go.
lot. And do you know, I've probably had moments myself where I've been getting out and I was like, I'm just about to, I don't know, go into a meeting or go out and see friends, and I'm like, I should probably just check that I haven't got like something stuck in my teeth.
You can use a wing mirror. It looks more badass.
Makeup running down. Well, I actually used the rear view, just sort of tilt it down, put it back.
Yeah.
Job done.
Because that was, I remember that was, because Stu got his several months before I got mine.
I was just surprised.
Yeah. But I
But
specifically came from him. I read it somewhere.
Just a bit like, it's a tool.
Right.
It's a car with purpose. It's
Toughen
not
up,
for-
sunshine, right?
And he, people feel the need to have that, but lots of people do, and we do hear it a lot.
My mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Georgina.
Yeah.
Well, she's actually coming out on Sunday, so
Oh, nice.
so I've got an answer for her. So thank you, Lynn.
Well, it works. It works.
Actually, though, this is a good segue. So,
Oh gosh,
according to the book, it was on a trip in Botswana, Tanzania,
I think.
when Sir Jim received the news that the Defender was being seized.
Botswana.
Botswana, yeah.
And actually, they were in a pub, I think, that was called the Curry House. So actually, we talk about the Grenadier.
But the
The curry hat.
the Curry House
and,
is just.
I
as
mean,
important.
imagine if we'd had to name it after that. But it is why I think there is so much heart, soul, emotion of this car in Africa, because actually it was conceived in Africa. The Grenadier meeting came after that.
Yeah. Well, and so you guys purchased. Was it Kavango, right? Kavango.
Kavango, yeah, we purchased that probably 2 years ago now, actually, almost to the day, actually, 2 years last month. And that was it's another fun story in a way, because it was Jim's 70th. And we thought, and he was going on safari
Right,
for
which
his
is, yeah,
birthday.
yeah.
And we kind of thought it'd be really, a lovely 70th gift to make a Grenadier into a safari game viewer. For him to kind of enjoy, and he did. He loved it so much so that we then bought the company that modified it for us, so that we can. And look, it's not just about safari game viewers, but we are making safari game viewers, but also just modifications for overlanders. It's just an excellent company based in Maun in Botswana.
Yeah.
Really excellent. And they're doing so many cars every year, like hundreds of cars every year, mainly Land Cruisers, of course,
Well, right.
for the big safari companies, but also just for private customers. So we thought, well, the Grenadier needs to have its place there.
Which is awesome. I think that's just a great connection.
Yeah, and it's a great team, like a really good team. Nick runs it in Botswana, and then Charles,
right?
Van Rensburg runs the kind of whole thing, and he's also been kind of doing some expeditions with the Grenadier as well, so taking customers on some of the trips that Jim's done. I mean, I've done quite a few of these trips as well. I mean, they're absolutely breathtaking, and really, you're really in the car. You're kind of, it's breathtaking scenery, animals, it's all amazing, but you're doing it on your own in the car, and it's very special. So we're trying to kind of get that off the ground a little bit, because it's just it's the emotional pool of why this car exists, and Africa is a big part of that.
Yeah, we've been speaking to Charles a little bit back and forth, just trying to get schedules aligned so we can talk to him, because I said
he's an amazing person to have on, and he was there, by the way, at the Curry House meeting. That one, so he was there.
Really?
So he is an excellent person to get on, and he has got so many amazing stories.
Yeah, I guess that just from the emails back and forth. So hopefully we can get him on, which is
he'll be totally up for that.
Because as I mentioned before, it's like the derivatives. Those are the things that stand you apart from, a generic car brand, and pick whichever one you want to stick in there.
Yeah.
It's like nobody's putting a Chevy Tahoe and turning it into a fire truck.
No.
Why would you do that?
and it's that's the stuff that I like, and that's obviously from my background being an engineer, just like the weird oddball ones. It's like, that's so cool. How did you do it?
I know.
So we really want to have a chat to him about that stuff.
Yeah, no, and he'll be delighted to. And he's worked really hard with Nick to kind of work on building that business for the future, you know, including looking at expanding it and everything. So, because we're going to continue, we'll do anyone's vehicle, but we just want to have a really nice big Grenadier business there.
Yeah, which is fantastic. One of the questions, I don't know where you have on your list. One of the things that, and we kind of said there's North America, Europe, and Australia, three kind of different worlds. I have benefited from the fact that the dealership network in America is growing.
Yeah.
It became easier for me when one opened up several months ago. But some of the folks are concerned that it's going the other way.
Yeah.
In the UK, Australia.
Yeah.
What can you say to that? Because it's way more complex than we could even imagine. So
yeah. So, and look, it all comes back to the
Sorry, keep going.
keep on going.
Yeah,
It all
that's
comes back
just on me.
to the customer, right? So I think again, sort of learning from mistakes. So this is not about making the network smaller because, you know, it's not going very well or because of anything. It's because in early markets, unlike the US, so in the UK, Europe, Australia, Africa, and you kind of made this point earlier, agents, not dealers, right? We had agents.
Right.
And
Which
that
is
was because there was this kind of trend at the time for OEMs, manufacturers selling direct to the customer, kind of made, I suppose, famous, popular by Tesla, but also by COVID, I think, where people didn't really want to go into dealerships and everything was being done online, and it just seemed as though most of the industry, oh no. Should I continue speaking?
Yeah, carry on. I mean, it's still on mic.
The microphones are working.
So the industry
apologies.
was kind of going that way, and that was something we just thought, well, like we don't have to unpick anything. We're starting from scratch, so we'll just do that, and that was a big mistake. And it was a big mistake mainly for many reasons, but mainly because of the customer, right? So we had some of those agents who are not like the dealers you're coming across in the US. You know, you've been dealing with RDS, you're now dealing with Bram. These guys are like, they know how to treat a customer. They really care about how your experience is, and they want to make sure that your experience is as good as it can be. And I think that for certain of our agents, you know, they're not making as much money. The margin structure is different. And for one reason or another, because they were just conveying the car, they didn't really feel like it was their customer, in my opinion. Now, that's not true of all of them, because a lot of them have now switched to being dealers and that are partners now fully, and they're on.
That makes sense, right? 'Cause
they're on a margin structure that means that, you know, and they're thinking of it as, okay, this is my customer, it's not INEOS's customer, and who knows what's going on with them over there. And look, we didn't, you know, the early cars, we didn't deliver an easy first year. So I understand that for some of them it was really tough, but I suppose I was also not going to hang out and keep agents on that either weren't in it for the long term, didn't feel part of the brand, weren't treating our customer correctly. So we had to make changes to the network. And we've got to do that for the long-term benefit of all of us, I think. But what that means, obviously, is in the short term, it contracts and it makes it really irritating. And the UK is probably one of the worst affected, and Australia is going to be affected.
those are the
And we are working really hard to fix it. So we've got announcements coming out, should be next week in the UK, about several new service points being added. And we're trying to also look at, you know, for every country, stopgap solutions where we can just get people's cars fixed really quickly, regardless of where they are. And I mean, the other thing that we're also saying we'll do, I mean, at the moment, it's got to be at minimal inconvenience. So, you know, I did go out with a note, a kind of an email to everyone in the UK saying, this is going to happen. I don't expect you to be inconvenienced. We will come and pick up your car. Now, the kind of front end experience of that will probably be quite different for some people, because they'll pick up the phone to what's now their local dealer that's 3 hours away, and they've picked up loads more Grenadiers that they've got to deal with, and they're, you know, just trying to deal with a situation that's not ideal. We're going to fix it today for the long term, but we're on it. I know that we won't survive if we don't get this right, but we can't carry on with people that are not going to look after our customer.
73%.
Yeah.
Well done.
We're like,
I just like-
we're in low single figures.
I just
We're like 2 or
chatted,
3.
and chatted while
It's
you
all
fixed
good.
all
It's
that.
all
She's
good.
much more
It's all
important than me.
good.
You could switch.
It's
You
all
could give her
good.
number
It's all good.
9.
So good. So good.
No, well, that's
It's
good.
all-
It's one of
it's
those
okay,
things where, and this goes back to the same time as the manuals. So before you were probably even involved, but the Bosch service center.
Yeah.
You know, your dealer can be there, but you'll be able to get an oil change here, kind of thing. Didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Is there a potential for a relationship like that where there
Yes.
would be service centers but not dealers?
Absolutely, and that's exactly what we're looking at for every country right now. So it will probably take different shape in different countries, and some of it might be temporary while we kind of build out the network, because the UK we're not quite starting again, but we've got minimal coverage compared to what we had. So we've got to, and as I say, we've got an announcement coming out next week with some new points, but you know, that's good and bad because we're showing progress, but for the people that doesn't cover, it's like, well, when is it coming to me? And I totally understand that. We've got to get this fixed. And if anyone is under the impression that this is not kind of, you know, my number one burning platform right now, just ask our relatively new director of after sales, who is feeling quite a lot of heat right now. And he's just come into the role and he's working really hard to fix a lot of issues.
Walking into it.
He really is. And which I've told him gives him, you know, lots and lots of opportunity to shine and to do amazing things. But we will fix this. Partnerships with people, I think that we were kind of looking at it, you know, without escalating it properly to kind of my level and to my management team, kind of saying, well, you know, what we might end up with is some good, you know, it might be quite patchy. We might have some quite good partners and quite not so good partners, and that might be difficult reputationally. Well, I'm like, well, I'll tell you what's difficult reputationally is not having any damn coverage. So we're on it.
Good. That's, yeah, and it, like the, you know, the Americas, U.S., it's like a U, right?
Yeah.
I mean, down the eastern seaboard, you're pretty
Yeah.
good. Texas is obviously
Yeah.
a whole nother world, and then up
Up the West
California,
Coast, yeah.
and then there's one in Chicago. And now the
There's a bit
Ohio,
more than-
now the Ohio
We've
one
got
opened
Ohio,
up, right?
we've got Michigan, we've got
Yeah, so that, but that's where it's,
Kentucky.
you started here, right?
Yeah.
And
And now
then
we're starting
yeah.
to, and as you say, we're growing in the US. We'll continue to add sales and service points this year. We've just, with my team here today, we've just been going through plans for next year. So we've got lots of growth plans, but I suppose the message is for those other markets that look like they're contracting, they're not. They're growing as well. It's just that we're going to do it with different people in some cases and stay with some exceptional people in others.
Yeah, Stu and I talk about this all the time, that like, at least in America, good dealer or bad dealer, yes, it's a franchise thing, but you automatically, we don't associate it with the franchise owner or the dealer.
And-
It's tied to your name, even though,
And that's not wrong, right? Because we appoint these people. We should be motivating them, paying them, making sure that we support them. And I think in a great many cases, you know, if you guys feel like communication has been bad, I think a lot of our partners would say the same. Like we haven't, you know, we've got this sort of thing we're talking about all the time just now, which is you can't communicate too much with people. Like we've got to communicate, and there's not, as I say, it's not an intent not to communicate. It's just that we're so busy. Like when I say there aren't enough minutes in the day, I mean I really mean minutes, and that's not. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the entire team. This is such a huge undertaking, huge, like almost unimaginable.
yeah, I can't imagine.
And yet we have got to very quickly get better at everything we're doing. And there's, you know, the team really understands that. So I think we should be held accountable because it is our car and it is our customer. But that doesn't mean that that person in the middle shouldn't be held accountable.
Right.
Because, you know, it is their job to kind of look after the front end and make the customer, the guest, as John from Bram would say, feel like they are a guest in his home. That's how he thinks about it. And that is wonderful. And that's what I'd love to see across our entire global network. A guest that's in my home that deserves my absolute respect and everything I can do to help them. And, you know, that's good for business because it breeds loyalty.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that, right or wrong, probably more wrong, that people associate the price of the vehicle they bought with how they should be treated. In other words,
That's absolutely true.
Right?
Of course.
so,
And
and
we have got to and it is why it's not me when I kind of say, well, we're not going to hang out with agents that are not doing that. That's not me throwing stones, because I know that there are, even with those, in some cases, very good agents who work really well for other brands. I know that there are things that we're not perfect at in that first year, most particularly. So this is it's a joint enterprise, and we must jointly together make people feel, who are spending an absolute fortune on this vehicle, that they really matter, because they really do, and they certainly should to our partners as well.
yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Well, it's kind of like, I think what I'm used to in terms of running a business is that you've got your team to motivate, and you've got to get your message through the team, and you've got to help them understand what the direction of travel is and why you're doing it that way. And that's hard enough with a few thousand people. You then add on all of these kind of global
50
franchises
countries.
that are, INEOS above the door, and you've got to remember how to motivate, get your messages across, remind them of why we're doing this, remind them of what the story is, remind them of what the DNA is. It's all really important.
Yeah. Well, the Mile 1 folks seemed great. I mean, I was only there for a couple hours on Saturday, but their waiting room was really nice. It's really nice, because RDS was still building theirs when I bought my truck.
Theirs looks amazing.
That's what I heard. I just haven't seen it.
Theirs looks absolutely amazing now. I actually was there just before it opened, so I kind of saw it not quite finished, but it's really, really
Well, their
beautiful.
Porsche building's amazing.
I went there as well.
It's right
Actually,
down the road,
those guys
yeah.
know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was my first visit to Mile 1 this week. They're in a great location with lots and lots of other really good
That
brands
road
around them.
is amazing.
It's like Automotive Boulevard. I think it's actually called Automotive
like
Boulevard.
you turn in, and it's like every car manufacturer you could think of, all right there. It's kind of like,
Soon to be Marcos.
yeah, Marcos.
They're back.
It's like Paramus, right? You've been to
I
Paramus.
have, yes.
Yeah, that's the Auto Mile, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like all the big names are there.
Yeah.
So that's why when they were rumblings of the New Jersey thing was coming out, I'm like, I watch, it's going to be by Paramus, just because that's the place to be.
Yeah.
And you guys aren't very far from there, right?
No, we're kind of right there.
Yeah.
Not far at all.
Correct.
So that will be coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I mean, sort of opening the two spots in New Jersey has been quite exciting for us, because it's going to be our new home, as we said earlier as well, in Montvale. So quite
Yes. So is that's corporate headquarters?
US
That's what I
headquarters.
meant. Yeah, I'm sorry. US. And a dealer, or it's just like, can normal people go there?
Yes, so it's not going to be a dealer, because
Right, you
brands
can't
are
own a
in
dealer.
Freehold
Yeah.
and in Paramus. But what we have outside our office is kind of a little, they call it a pavilion. There's a little pavilion that wasn't really being used for anything. It's like a two Grenadier, probably 3-car, 2 Grenadier showroom, almost custom built for us. So what we'll have there is a couple of Grenadiers on show. So yeah, people absolutely can come and visit. We'll always have, between ourselves and Bran, we will staff that with kind of product experts. We're also going to run a loaner scheme out, because it's a really Montvale. It's like a really nice little area with shops and restaurants and cafes and some condos and stuff. So it's kind of a hub. So we're going to have like a little loaner vehicle, so you can come in and take the car if you need to and go and do something, test drive it. Or just use it and so it means we'll always have quite a lot of them parked up. We'll always have a product expert there. So yeah, you'll be welcome to come anytime.
See, there you go.
Montvale.
See, no one knew that. I didn't know that. I know it's Montvale.
Yeah, you might catch a glimpse. So George Ratcliffe, who's kind of moved over from the UK to run the US, might catch him for a beer, or
I should open a Grenadier East or West.
Grenadier
West
pub in the
little
States.
Grenadier pub,
That'd be nice.
There is one north of LA. It's a bar. I looked it
Called
up.
Grenadier?
It's called the Grenadier. Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice.
Beef Wellington on there?
Yeah,
Probably not.
From the photographs, I'd say no. Hard no on that. Anyway, you guys got a shout out. Congratulations.